All right, everybody, so I'm back again with another review. This is DC Universe's superpower, Cyclotron. So if you don't know who this guy is, don't feel bad, because neither do I. I got him at a convention that I went to in Sacramento. I think I got him for maybe like 15 bucks. And that is the only reason why I bought this guy. I did a little bit of research, and I guess he's some robot that like Superman ended up creating. And whereas he's not that powerful, he does have a database in his brain of all of the weaknesses of the Justice League, which I guess can come in really handy. From what I have discovered about this dude, I guess he has some sort of like super like roundhouse punch that's supposed to be really devastating. The reason why they call him Cyclotron is because of that punch. Is because of his ability to spin around and then land that punch. But I guess the whole infobot deal was just a retcon for, I guess, him being a villain, but I'm not really sure. I've personally have never seen this guy in a comic book. I haven't seen him when he debuted, and I have not seen him since, unless they retconned him again and turned him into a different character. I don't know who this guy is, but I ended up getting him because he was on the cheap and he's a DC figure, and I like having unique, interesting figures just because. Excuse me. You never know when you might want to do something a little different with a toy photo. You know, I could always use him as a goon or a proxy villain or whatever the case may be. But all of the personal info about this guy aside, let's get into the articulation. Starting at the head, he's got a head that goes around 360. Nothing up and nothing back. It's just on a peg. So it's just a peg that just goes around. His arm goes around 360. He's got a bicep swivel that gets you around there. He also has a single jointed elbow. And he's got a the flick of the wrist hinge. Same thing on the other side. Same thing. Same exact thing. He also has a abdominal hinge that gets you down to about that far and back to about that far. I believe he does have a waist swivel. So he does have a waist swivel that gets you all the way around. He also has, she's got the legs that get you up to about there. Back to about that far, which is not bad. He's also got a lower thigh hinge here that gets you around to there. Single jointed knee. Excuse me. And before we continue, the joints on this are super smooth. Like, super smooth. They're not too tight, but they're not so loose where the figure's doing the jingle, jangle, jingle type of deal. But it's super nice. Like, it's super nice. And they don't feel cheap or like they're going to break. Going further down, he's got a ankle hinge that gets you up to about there, back to about there, which is extreme, which is really nice. He also has, it's the same thing on the other side too. He also has the butterfly split here, which done this way really breaks up the continuity of the sculpt. But that's I don't know if that's okay. Some people, it might be a deal breaker. I know that it does look kind of odd to do it that way, but I prefer it like this because it gives you the articulation, as opposed to some figures that I'll review, and I will point that out when I see them. I'll point that out when I decide to do the review. Aesthetically, you know, once again, I'll say this before, I'll say it again. I'm not really like big on paint, but I know that like the paint here got a little nuts. They got a little out of line with the paint there. Definitely not a deal breaker for me. This dude is He's an interesting looking character. He's an interesting looking guy. You could definitely tell that he's from an older age of comics. He sort of looks like he goes with the New Gods, almost. That's sort of the vein in which he looks like he falls into. For those of you who are unfamiliar with the New Gods they're associated with Darkseid. And that's pretty, you know what, that's pretty much all I'll say on that. As far as because if I were to really get into like every single New God and how they all associate with each other, we'll be here for like 20 minutes. And I wanted to actually try to start making attempts to make these videos shorter without reiterating the same points over and over and over again. Oh, before I continue, his arm goes out to about there, and it goes into about there. The guy looks good, he just looks weird. Oh, that's pretty sweet. Yeah, look at that. Look at all that detail right there. Look at that. The guy, like everything, I guess, looks the way it's supposed to as far as like the paint and the lines. The green is an interesting choice because you don't really see a lot of heroes that use green as their primary color, unless you're talking about guys like Geoforce or like maybe, I'm not even gonna say her. Not even gonna say her. But like green is an interesting choice. Green and yellow. And it definitely makes him stand out very, very much amongst all of my other figures. He is incredibly unique. He's got good articulation. It's a solid figure. If you know who this guy is, it's a solid figure. It's a solid unit. And as weird as this dude looks, I gotta say, I highly recommend this guy. I like this dude a lot. I have yet to take any pictures with him, but I plan to. I've never seen any other collector with this guy, though I'm not saying that they don't, but I have never seen anybody else with this dude. This is an interesting looking guy. I really like him. I like having interesting different figures that like really nobody else has. But just for the sake of saying like, hey, I know who this guy is, and hey, I own a figure of that guy. Like, he's got this weird like bullet helmet. Like, look at this dude. Look at all this green and yellow. Look at this guy. Like, this dude's, you know what? Now that I'm messing with this guy more, this guy is fantastic. I am high. Look at the detail on the skin here. You know, he's got a couple veins right there. Look at that. This man on the juice. He's on the juice. Look at that. You know what? Now that I'm looking at this dude, this guy has a lot of good. The joints feel smooth. Joints aren't tight. Like, this is a solid guy. You know what? I am recommending this guy. I am highly recommending this guy. Dude stands well. Look at that. Look at this guy. You know what? Just prove me wrong. But this dude here is definitely a buy. I highly recommend CYCLOTRON. If you can find him on the cheap, if you can find him. Because he's like one of those weird, rare characters. If you can find him on the cheap, I say pick him up. I don't know what exactly you will do with him, but I say get him. I like him. I think he's a solid figure. So, I guess that's my analysis. So, thanks again for watching. Until next time, this is the Bay Area's only toy reviewer, Carl, and I will see you guys next time.